Wow, that's an interesting question. Yeah. I've never been asked this. Well, I have to say that just biologically speaking, until it gets out of my system, I cannot do anything else. So that's how it works for me. How loving they are, how authentic they are, how in the moment they are. They have no ego, they have no pretense. Now, how many of us can claim to have these qualities?
Right.
I have missed the chance to learn all of this. I would have learned all of this. It's a bigger loss to our children.
Hi, Mr. Khan. How are
Hi,
you?
hi, hi, Sanam. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I have to say, this is like a total fangirl moment because
Correct.
right from Andaz up to now, we are reading on your films every day.
Mm.
Um, and this is great. And I work in corporate finance, Amir. And
Mhm.
when I think of, what am I going to spend my time on or what am I putting money in, it's all about thinking about, right, the investment and the
Sure,
return on that investment, the
sure,
ROI.
sure.
I want to ask you, when you're choosing films and when you're thinking about films,
Mhm.
your thought about the investment that you're putting into it, monetary
Mm.
wise, and what's your return expectation on that investment?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Yeah. I've never been asked this. Well, I have to say that I'm very particular about where I'm investing my time. And in a sense, I'm not really thinking about the return on investment. Uh, I'm really when I'm selecting a film, I'm not really thinking about how the audience is going to react to this. Or is this something? Should I do a big action thriller because that's what people want to see right now? You know,
Hmm.
I'm unable to think like that. Uh, I react to stories, and when a story touches my heart and it enters my bloodstream, then it's no longer a matter of return on investment. Just biologically speaking, until it gets out of my system, I cannot do anything else. So that's how it works for me. you know
Yeah.
so I can't calculate return on how but I have to say that though I have worked in this manner in which I have not been able to even consider return on investment, the fact is that with each of the films that I've done, this journey has been so amazing that I've got more than I would have wanted for from return of investment from that point of view. And I'm not talking financially.
No,
The return of
absolutely.
investment that I have got on the time that I've invested in my work has been so amazing. It's in the form of the love of my audience and the strong relationship that I have built with my audience. I don't think that we can value that. There is absolutely no way I can put a value to that. It's priceless for me. So I think
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy with the return of investment. Yeah.
Because when I was thinking about asking you this question, and actually you've said it in a way only you could have, because I have seen you, when you made this comment about unless it's out of my system, I can't get rid of it. I was thinking that he puts his not just his heart and his money and his time, but he's putting his soul into it, right? Into
Mm,
whatever you're doing, which I
mm,
think then does come across. But Sitaare Zameen Par, it's
mm.
obviously it's a what do we say, a philosophical next step, I suppose, to Tare Zameen Par, which
It
of
is
course is
very much so.
about.
Yeah. Mm,
What was it that drew you to it? And we obviously we have the Indian diaspora audience, but we have a
mm.
very worldwide audience that's internationally
Right.
sitting in the UK. Why should they watch it? What will draw them to it?
Well, I think it's a film that makes you happy. It brings joy into your life. So that's one reason. And the other thing is that I'm hoping that it really uh, makes us question our attitude towards people who are different from us. Um, People who are born with, challenges, people uh, who are intellectually disabled. Uh, right from the time that I'm born, if I'm a Down syndrome child, if right from the time that I'm born, I'm put into a special school and I'm segregated right away. And then I grow up with children around me who are more or less similar to me, because that's what a special school will have. Kids who
Mm.
are neurodivergent. So I grew up with them. And that's a big loss for me that I'm not able to spend time with, you know, all kinds of kids with different abilities. It's a big loss to me. But the bigger loss is to the kids who are supposedly neurotypical,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they don't get to spend time. They don't get to grow up with a child who's neuroatypical.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I'll tell you what I've learned through this film, working with 10 people with intellectual disabilities. What I've learned is, love, how loving they are, how authentic they are, how in the moment they are. They have no ego, they have no pretense. How many of us can claim to have these qualities?
Right.
I have missed the chance to learn all of this. I would have
Mm.
learned all of this had my school had children around me who were
Yeah.
neurodivergent. These are the things I would have learned many years ago. I learned it at the age of, 58, 60, because now I've had the opportunity to work with them. So
Yeah.
just this one simple example, which is my own example, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We have to work towards inclusion. It's a big loss to people who are neurotypical. It's a bigger
Yeah.
loss to people who are neurotypical. It's a bigger loss to our children, you know. And so
Yeah.
so I'm hoping that this film would start a public discourse on the fact that we should really relook at how you know we should relook at segregation
Yeah.
of people who have different abilities from us, and we should understand the loss that we are heaping on ourselves, by doing this.
You know what they say in finance about following the money? If we put this loss in terms of how much monetary, billions of pounds being lost annually because we are not learning to from the neurodiversities, I think the corporate would
Exactly.
suddenly get behind it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
But
And
I'm
forget
looking
all of
back.
that, at the end of the day, they teach us how to be happy. How many of
Yeah.
us can claim that we are happy? We are constantly, most of us are searching for happiness.
Yeah.
Well,
And we're
you
putting
spend
them in
time with
podcasts.
a child who's, or with an adult who's,
Yeah.
Down syndrome. You'll start learning to be happy very quickly. you know.
Yeah. And this is such a globally relevant thing, right? And I think
Sure.
that's why, in particular, if that discourse, starting from India is so important because India is now shaping that voice into, the
Certainly.
world.
Certainly.
Uh, but let me ask you this.
Hmm.
When artificial intelligence was
Hmm.
to analyze your body of work, right, over
Mm-hmm.
the last
Mm-hmm.
decade, what do you hope it concludes?
Oh. Uh Actually, I'm so far removed from artificial intelligence. Um, I have no idea. Well, I would rather be concerned with what uh, actual people feel about my work at the end of my career, and that would concern me more. That would be more important to me. That over the last 35 years, the work I've done, and my relationship with my audience, and the people who've seen my work and what they feel about it, would be far more important to me than what AI would feel or tell me. Yeah, I guess. Well,
I
AI
would
can't
say
feel, but they would tell what AI would tell me. Yeah.
the way it's going, God knows what all it's going to
Yeah,
do,
it
though.
might start feeling very soon. Yeah, you have no idea.
But I will say this to conclude and leave you with an invitation as well,
Hmm.
Amir, which say, from Rang De Basanti, Tare Zameen Par, all your body of work, through
Hmm.
to now, of course, and I'm sure we're adding Sitaare Zameen Par to that list, to Satyamev Jayate, to even Sarfarosh, it's
Hmm.
there is your body of work, whereas I think no other actor, certainly in India, no other performer or filmmaker, I think, can claim what you can, and that will be your legacy, which is the impact that you've had on every generation in India, not just in India, world, in terms of that change, right? In terms of enabling that discourse and doing that in such a commercially astute manner that has given rise to a whole parallel, not parallel, but mainstreamized parallel cinema. So thank you so much. Thank you.
I really loved your questions here. Thank you, Sanam. Thank you. Bye-bye.
What if the ones we left behind were the ones we needed the most?
टीम तो नॉर्मल होगी बनती है ना।
सब अपने अपने नॉर्मल पे टिके बैठे हैं कोच साहब। सबका अपना अपना नॉर्मल होता है। आपका नॉर्मल आपका, उनका नॉर्मल उनका।
गुलशन, कभी ना कभी सबको रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी उठानी पड़ती है। मैं तेरे लिए लड़ी, उनके लिए तू लड़ेगा।